Okay, quiet. Everyone stop with the comments about the LG V30. This is an Apple Sheep channel, okay? I talk mostly about Apple on here. Forgive me if the views of this video aren't actually that high, even though everyone keeps asking about it. Okay. I've been kind of silent on this topic because it runs Android, and there's a lot bigger things coming out right now. You may have heard of them. iPhone 10, iPhone 8, Apple Watch Series 3, and forgetting about the HomePod that's waiting every day. It's like, oh yeah, Apple made a smart speaker. And then Amazon came out with their new smart speakers, and I was like, oh, they're already responding to the HomePod, which doesn't exist yet. I'm getting one still. I don't know which color. But regardless, what is the LG V30 for those of you who do not know? New Android phone from LG, and it shows that design-wise, you can have a lot of cool features in one package. With the LG V30, you're getting a dual camera, you've got Touch ID on the back. Couldn't embed it into the display, but hey, who can? However, they got it in a more convenient spot than they do on the Galaxy phones. You've got that new bezel-less design that everyone's been going with this year. LG already did this with the LG G6, and they've just kind of smoothened it out a little bit on the V30. Looks like a very nice phone. Very good low light settings on both the cameras on the front and back, except the difference with this dual camera is that instead of having one wide and one telephoto like Galaxy phones did and like the iPhone did, they decided to have one regular lens and one ultra wide lens, which some photographers are into, but I think most people taking pictures on smartphones aren't really that interested into making sure that the shot is wide enough. I've never really had that problem. Usually when you're filming things, or usually when you're taking pictures of stuff, it's all about how your phone can't get closer. You see lots of people doing this at concerts and at performances and stuff. People can't get close enough with their phones. Bizarrely, LG took the unique approach, and I will admit it's original, to say the problem is people are always taking pictures, but the phones are way too close to the subjects. They are? LG? Is that really a problem? Yes! Yes, it is. It's a problem. So we're gonna make an ultra-wide lens on a phone. Right. I don't see where this is a problem. But hey, it did keep that headphone jack, so. Yeah, okay. I could make comments about that, but I've already made a video called The Headphone Jack Needs to Die. Go watch that. I want to talk about that here today. What I want to talk about is why have I been kind of silent on this topic? Yes, I'm a very Apple-focused channel, and there's a lot of Apple news going on, but I like to cover Android phones too. Believe it or not, there are actually some Android phones I get a little bit excited about, even though I'm not going to buy them. Like, for instance, the Essential phone, I think was really cool of a startup company to make a phone that looks so luxurious and looks so nice. Turns out is selling horribly, which is kind of sad. I feel really bad for them, and I hope that the poor sales of the Essential phone doesn't drive them out of business. I hope that they can make a sequel that's better, because the Essential phone did having a lot of software problems, as well as the camera kind of being underwhelming. But anyway, back to the V30. It also has USB-C, which is equipped with fast charge. I believe it has water resistance, and yes, it has wireless charging. No stereo speakers though. I kind of enjoy that on my iPhones, but probably not a deal breaker for most people. Why have I been so silent on this? It's because this is kind of the most bland update I've ever seen to an Android phone this year. You know, going into 2017 with smartphones, we knew that bezels were kind of phasing out. It's like all major companies had to be removing bezels this year. And that kicked off early with the LG G6. It was kind of the first time that they showed off this new aspect ratio on phones. Now with the 18:9 or 2:1 display that opened up some new options, and those curved corners, which makes the phone blend into your hand a lot better. Followed it up with the next big phone, the Galaxy S8, which took things to a whole new level by curving those displays, which I've used the Galaxy S8 Plus. It's a great phone. Didn't beat out the iPhone for me, obviously, but still, a very, very impressive display, and on first glance, it is very nice to have a screen that is that large and that full. Very, very great colors, and now we're seeing Apple enter the market with the iPhone 10, with that edge-to-edge display. But what I have to say about Apple, you know, you can complain about the iPhone 10, about it being expensive or unoriginal all day. I appreciate that Apple, of all companies, and I'm not trying to say this as an Apple sheep. Yes, I am an Apple sheep, but this is coming from a completely unbiased perspective. Apple took the unique approach to removing bezels to smartphones. If we look at every single Android phone that came out this year that had a focus on removing bezels, which was almost all of them. LG G6 was trying to remove them, S8 was trying to remove them, Essential phone was trying to remove them, Note 8 of course goes along with Galaxy. We're gonna see the Ultra Pixel soon and how they're gonna remove bezels, or if it's the smaller one, make them bigger for some reason. I don't Google, what the heck. Well, once I saw all the pictures in the news about the LG V30, I think I just kept scrolling on my phone phone because it was like another Android phone where they removed bezels by making the chin and forehead smaller, and yeah, it's got all the new features. That's very exciting. Software-wise though, yes, companies like to put their skin on top of Android, but you can tinker with Android as much as you want and really convert it into anything. So the idea that you're gonna choose your Android phone this year based upon the software exclusives, I never really can fully get behind. I still think the Note 8 is the best Android phone to date. It has an incredible camera, it packs a lot of features, and it has an enormous display. And when I see something like the LG V30, which by no means is not a bad phone, you know, it packs everything people like to see in a modern smartphone, I can't help but say, is this really all we're okay with being a release anymore? Design-wise, between all of these different Android phones, there's not that much variety. Make fun of Apple all you want, but you have to admit the iPhone X took a far more unique approach to designing that I actually think is better. Hey, this video wasn't all about the LG V30. I had to bring up the iPhone somehow. With the iPhone X, they didn't try to make the chin bigger than the side bezels, which is I think what Android's been doing all this year. Even with the Essential phone, which looked really cool, it almost has an identical form factor to the iPhone X, including that notch. Even the bottom of the Essential phone kind of has a larger chin, and it's pointless. There's no buttons there. They don't put a speaker there. You know, the Galaxy S8 has a slightly larger chin on the bottom. Doesn't really have a purpose. You know, it's just kind of there. And every Android phone template that came out this year was always thin bezels on the side and then slightly thicker chin and forehead. They did that with the G6, V30, Essential phone, S8, and it's like, come on. We're about to see it with the Pixel again. It's like, can the same companies all release the same looking phone and you still get excited for it with only minute differences? Like the Pixel, it won't have a headphone jack. Good for you, Google. The iPhone X was like, let's make this display edge to edge, as in that chin bezel is the same size of the bezels on the sides, and it even goes all the way up to the top corner, so the forehead is not larger than the rest of the phone. That bezel is the same size, and then of course there is the proximity sensor, or as we internet people like to call it, the notch. Not the Minecraft notch, you know, the notch at the top of the 10. That is only there because it absolutely has to be. Apple has not figured out a way to embed those sensors underneath the display. They have patented it. There are a couple patents saying they're working on that, but perhaps it costs too much money or it's too hard to make. But every square inch of the front of the iPhone X has a purpose. There's not some big chin or some big forehead that's just kind of sitting there while the company preaches at you, this is a bezel-less display, even though you can definitely still see the bezels. And while edge displays like on the Galaxy S8 or the Note 8 are cool, I kind of think that's a cheat to give the illusion of thinner bezels. For me, back when I used the S8, it does kind of go off a little bit when I tap it, and it does slightly distort the image when you're looking at pictures or watching videos. As the iPhone X does not do that, same size bezel all the way around the phone, and the notch is containing as much as it can in as small a space as possible. Remember all those ugly iPhone rumors we looked at? See, if Apple would have made that, they would have just been doing what all the Android phones were doing. Make fun of that dual camera on the back being vertical, but you have to admit it is different than all the other Android phones. And that's why you didn't see me get too excited or that impressed with the LG V30. Yeah, you have a lot of features, but Samsung also exists. I don't think the V30 made a better package than the Galaxy phones. And regardless, I think it's kind of boring where tons of different companies just kind of make slight variations on the same design of each other. Apple's approach to removing bezels was unique and different, and I'm really excited to try it out. There. How's that an Apple Sheep's perspective on the LG V30? Of course, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.